Welcome back to Healing Depths podcast. I'm Maja Wu, and today we are diving into a theme that touched so many lives quietly, subtly, and cumulatively. The small, the often invisible habits that um, over time lead into depression. What I've seen in my clinical work and what research supports is that many people with major depressive disorder have no obvious reason to feel the way they do. They'll say, "My life is fine. Nothing terrible has happened. I just don't feel anything anymore." And that is one of the most painful parts of depression. Not sadness, but the absence of joy. Food doesn't taste good. Nothing excites you. Someone tells you they love you and you feel nothing. Or you explain it away. Um, well, they are family. They have to say that. So, where does this come from? My theory and the foundation of today's episode is this: depression is often the result of tiny experiences accumulating over time until the nervous system simply says, "This is too much, I give up." Researchers call this giving up circle um, a neural shift from "this is hard, but I'm trying" to "this is pointless." The shutdown, the collapse, the inward spiral. The good news is that when micro habits can accumulate toward depression, they can also accumulate away from it toward resilience, regulation, and renewed vitality. Today, we'll explore 10 micro habits that slowly shape depression and what you can begin to shift. First, discounting the positive. Depression isn't just about sadness, it's about inability to feel joy. This happens when someone has been hurt so many times that it feels safer to expect the worst rather than hope for the best and risk disappointment. So the mind builds a habit. Yes, but you get a compliment. "Oh, they've just been nice." You accomplish something. Anyone can do that. You notice something beautiful. It won't last. Discounting the positives becomes a form of emotional armor. But armor doesn't only block pain, it also blocks joy. And so the nervous system slowly numbs. On the second place, self-punishment, a deeply ingrained reflex for many. When you make a mistake, do you hear, "I'm such an idiot. What's wrong with me?" People often believe that self-criticism motivates growth, but psychologically and neurologically, it does the opposite. Self-attack fuels shame. Shame fuels paralysis, and paralysis fuels depression. So growth never comes from self-hatred. It comes from self-responsibility held with compassion. There is also blaming yourself for having emotions. For example, this is extremely common. "I feel guilty for being depressed." "I'm weak for having anxiety." Or "I should be over this by now." These layers or judgment make emotional regulation nearly impossible. Remember this. The feelings themselves aren't the problem. The shame about the feeling is what becomes toxic. Over time, internal judgment exhausts the nervous system into collapse. And there is also withdrawing from life then. When something feels overwhelming, the nervous system says, "Retreat, retreat, retreat." Just one cancelled plan, then another. Just one avoided opportunity, then 10. One day, you wake up and feel fundamentally disconnected. Withdrawal feels protective, but it slowly creates the loneliness that depression feeds on. There is numbing behaviors. Many of us grow up with emotional dismissal. Don't cry, be strong. No one wants to hear it. So as adult, we numb with food, screens, work, scrolling on social media, noise. Numbing avoids pain, but avoidance always enlarges what we avoid. Over time, the emotional system becomes dulled, not only to pain, but to pleasure also. There is also rumination. The mind loops, the past, the mistakes, the unfairness. The moment you wish you could change, rumination feels like problem solving, but it's actually emotional quicksand. The more you think, the deeper you sink. There is also self-neglect. Sleep, nutrition, movement, rest. These aren't luxuries. They are neurological foundations. Many people don't realize how chronically stressed they are until they break. Until they come to Mallorca and experience retreat. And by then, the depressive collapse has already begun. The body keeps the score and it keeps it quietly until it doesn't. There is also waiting for motivation. Depression says, I'll do it when I feel better. But action doesn't follow motivation. Motivation follows actions. One small step before you feel ready is often the doorway back to life. There is also emotional reasoning. If I feel lonely, I must be unlovable. If I feel anxious, I must be incompetent. If I feel hopeless, nothing will ever get better. Feelings are not facts. They are states, not identities. Learning to separate your identity from your emotional weather is essential for healing. There is also a fixed mindset and victim mindset. When something painful happens, notice your reflex. Is it, why does this always happen to me? Or, what can I learn? What skill is this asking me to grow? Victim mindset keeps you stuck. Growth mindset restores agency, and agency is medicine for depression. So, why list these micro habits? Because awareness is the doorway to transformation, of course, and depression is not one big thing. It is many small things repeated. And healing is also not one big thing. It is many small openings that slowly restore your nervous system's capacity for aliveness. Pick one micro habit to shift, just one. Over time, those tiny shifts accumulate into something profound. And before we close, I invite you into a brief reflection. What is one pattern from today's episode that you recognized in your life, in yourself? And what is one gentle, compassionate step you can take toward change? Healing doesn't ask you to do everything, just to do one next thing with presence. And thank you for being here with me today. And remember, even when numbness feels total, your aliveness is not gone. it is waiting beneath the surface, believe me. Until next time, I'm Maya and this is Healing Depth.